to episode 59 of Stitched in Sweden. I'm Maria, and you can find me on Ravelry as mmonska and on Instagram as Stitched in Sweden. This week I am back after a bit of a holiday break, and I am going to share with you a couple of things I've been working on, some new yarn that I got over the Christmas holiday, and some sewing projects, as well as my plans for upcoming knitting projects. So I thought I would start out just by jumping into the knitting, which has not been all that much that I have with me here to show you, but I will talk a little bit about it anyway. And then towards the end I'll go into what I've been doing for the past month or so, and my yarn acquisitions. So, Happy New Year, and I hope everyone is doing well. I'll start out with the project that I've been working on most in the past week or so, which has been a pair of plain vanilla socks out of some Stripey Knit Picks yarn. This is the Knit Picks Felici, which is a fingering weight self-striping yarn from Knit Picks, and I picked this up while I was in the US this Christmas, and I'm making some socks for Thomas. I usually start a pair of socks, for the past couple of years anyway, I have started a pair of socks when the semester starts again, or in January after Christmas, as kind of a palette cleanser, I guess. And these ones are going pretty fast, but usually by the time they're finished, I have a nice Valentine's Day present for Thomas. So I already have finished one of them. It went super fast. I think it's partially, the striping makes you want to keep going, but also I had some long days in lecture this past week, which I mostly have knit these during class. So I'm actually just finished the heel, and I've started the foot of the second one. And I said this is the Felici, but I didn't say this is the chickadee color. And I actually have another ball of it here. Knit Picks Felici Chickadee Special Reserve. I don't know why it's Special Reserve. I guess because now they've started to restrict when it comes out. I think that's a little bit stupid, but whatever. So I have 2 balls left, and basically by doing the contrast heel and toe in a different color, which is some just leftover turquoise yarn that I have, I was able to almost get a sock and a half out of one 50-gram ball. So I'm approaching the end of the first 50 grams, and I've already started working on the foot. So I will need to break into another ball to do most of the foot, but I think I'll need to do like from here with the new ball. But then I'm planning on either making a pair for me, but definitely making a pair for a small person, like a child. And yeah, I also got some. Okay, now I'm going into what yarn I got, but anyway, I'll just show this since I'm talking about Felici. I got some Felici in Slumber Party, which will also be for another child. So I might knit those next, but I'm not sure. There's no timeline on them at all, so just fun to knit with some of that, because I don't usually knit with self-striping yarn, and it seems like I haven't really knit socks in a little while, so it's a nice, quick and simple project to work on. And I'm doing the Fish Lips Kiss heel on these socks. I did them from the cuff to the toe, and I cast on 72 stitches on US size 0, which is a 2mm needle, for the ribbing. And then I decreased to 68 stitches for the leg, and then I did the heel, and then right after the heel I decreased to 64 stitches for the foot, and then I just did like side decreasing on the toe. So pretty basic. On the second sock, I had knit all the way to here when I realized yesterday in class that I had only done the ribbing to the bottom of the brown, but on the first one you can see it's to the bottom of the mint color. So then I had to rip back, add some more ribbing, and keep going. I don't know why I didn't just look at this first sock to see when I was doing that, but I just thought I knew, and I didn't. So it wasn't a big deal. I caught back up in the time I was in class. So this is in my modular project bag, which is a bag, one of the first project bags I had, and it's a really simple drawstring bag. I don't think there's any interfacing or anything like that, but this is from Fancy Tiger Crafts, and she also has an Etsy shop, modular. I think it's a local person in Colorado. I mean, not local to me anymore. So that is what I have been, the only thing I've been knitting really since I got back to Sweden. When I was in Colorado, I did kind of a lot of concentrated knitting in a short period of time to finish the test knit that I was working on for Joji Locatelli. And this is a, if you remember, it is a kind of medium light gray pullover that had a very interesting construction with a lot of cables and a little bit of lace. And I really wanted to get that finished because I was knitting it for my mom. So on Christmas she just got the project and the needles still attached in my project bag. But then I came back, I left Colorado on January 2nd, and I finished sewing in the ends. Actually, I finished binding off the last sleeve and sewing in the ends on the day that I left, because I had to leave in the afternoon to go to the airport. So that was cutting it a bit close, and I also cut it really close with the yarn. In the end, I had about this much yarn left over. Like, literally no yarn left. So that was a little bit scary, but yep, I managed. And it's a good thing because that was knit out of Dandelion Yarns Falkland DK, which I purchased at the Sewing and Knitting Festival here in Stockholm, and there weren't any more of those, so that was lucky. So I was able to sew in the ends and soak it and lay it out on my bedroom floor for it to dry, and then my mom tried it on a couple days later once it was dry. So it fits, and I was going to share some pictures with it here, but I remembered that perhaps I will wait until the pattern comes out to show the final product. But it's a really nice sweater, and I think my mom will like it a lot. So that's what I knit while I was back in the US. Otherwise, I was doing a lot of sewing. I sewed several bra projects and some boxers for my dad. And yeah, I really didn't do any other knitting. What else did I sew? There must have been other things. Mostly I was sewing. Underwear and bras. I still have a couple of projects that are on the needles here. one of which is also a test knit, and this is a cardigan that I'm working on for Charlotte Bory, and I am probably in just about the same place as I was last time when I showed you. I don't know how much you're going to be able to see of it really, but this is the cardigan. It's kind of an oversized cardigan with it's also curly, but it won't once it's blocked, with a nice ribbed button band panel, but there's no buttons on it. And here is a sleeve, but I need to rip this sleeve out and make the armhole a little bit smaller, and then I will start working on the sleeve again. So I'm planning on getting this started up again this week. I will be babysitting for 4 days this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think it will be really good to have a stockinette project on the needles that I can just work on really simply without having to think about it too much while I'm babysitting. So, yep, I think I will probably only bring that project with me, or I'll try to only bring that project with me so I can really make a lot of progress on it and get it finished. And this yarn is the Baronvola, and it's the Selkie color in the, I think it's called Everyday Merino. It's the one that's 100% non-superwash merino. And I have this much left for the sleeves, I think. I don't think I have another ball. No, that's it. Okay, so last but not least, the only other thing on my needles, well, I say that, but that's actually really not true. I was thinking the other day, when I was listening to somebody else's podcast, they were talking about some languishing whips that they have, and I was thinking, oh, I don't have any languishing whips. That's really not true at all. If you remember, last year I was working on, I think at the beginning of last year, I was working on a colorwork pullover out of Brooklyn Tweed Loft. Yeah, I still have that totally on the needles, not worked on. I think I got to the point where I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the neck and how I was going to continue the colorwork into the neck part. So anyway, I need to have a look at that and decide what to do. So I have that project, and I have my, also in Loft, the Rock Island shawl. I knit most of the border, but not quite all of it. And it's knit from the border to, from the border in. So I'm kind of at the beginning of it, but I remember that the border, from the first time I knit it, I remember that the border really took a long time, and it was kind of hard to get myself all the way through it, but then the rest of it went pretty quickly. So that would be also really nice to finish because I miss having that shawl. That's pretty much it. So not that many projects, but I mean, having a whole sweater on the needles still is kind of a lot. I would really like to clear off the needles and finish the cardigan that I'm working on. Now when I finished Thomas's Redford sweater also. That was nice to get off the needles. And my mom's sweater, which is the Hohi test knit. But I still also have this sweater that I'm knitting for myself in exactly the same place as you saw it last time. This is a kind of gable-ish sweater. Gable is a pattern from Hannah Fettig, and it has this triangular detail here. And yeah, I really just need to knit the bottom ribbing. I I was doing some shaping for the back part so that the back is slightly lower than the front. So I really just need to finish that up, do the ribbing, and do the sleeves. Not much left. So that would be also something to pull out and work on again and get finished. I have another ball of that. And this is Frida Fuchs yarn in the Hanami color. In her base that it's 100% merino, I think, or maybe has some nylon. I don't remember exactly. But that's really nice yarn to work with. So those are my projects that I'm working on. And yeah, I would like to finish them ideally by the end of January. Would be really nice if I could finish those 2 sweaters by the end of January. I think that's optimistic, but then I think it would be really nice to start. It would have been refreshing, I guess, to start January with completely clear needles, but that just wasn't going to happen because I had all these projects going and I didn't want to bring them with me to Colorado because I knew that I wasn't going to work on them, and I knew that I really wanted to finish the sweater from my mom so that I could leave it there and not have to send it from Sweden. So yeah, I maybe will make that a goal to try to definitely finish the Charlotte Bory cardigan by the start of February. And how about finish the body of the gable pullover? So finish the rest of the body and do the ribbing before February starts, which is in like 15 days. Okay, that's the plan. I'll show you a couple of sewing projects that I've been working on recently. When I got back from Sweden, so like when I got back from Colorado, I mean, I sewed 2 bras, one for myself and one for my sister. And they are the Marlboro bra pattern from Orange Lingerie. This is my pretty much go-to pattern. It has a 3-part cup. The upper cup here, this lower cup, and then this side panel, which is called a power bar. And this is out of some lace from the Tailor Made shop on Etsy. And I really like how it turned out. I am slightly disappointed because this bottom elastic, you can see it's a nice emerald green, is for some reason really sharp and itchy. And I've never had that happen before. And I sort of knew that when I was sewing it in. I was like, this feels not as nice and soft, but I was thinking, oh, maybe it's just some kind of, what is it called, sizing or whatever, some kind of like starch that was in the elastic. And so I thought it would get smoother when I washed it, but I really should have washed the elastic separately to see if it got smoother before I sewed it into a bra. But I didn't. And unfortunately, it's the same elastic that I sewed into, it's the same type, it has the same problem as the elastic that I sewed into this one, which is for my sister, and I need to send this to her, like, now, because her birthday was 2 days ago. So that's kind of a bummer, but I think I will try and make another bra before I send her her birthday package, which I'll show you something else which will be in there. So in case this one is just too irritating or itchy, then she can just get rid of it and, or use it for parts. I'll take the parts back, and then she'll still have one though, because I don't know if she's going to be able to wear it. I wore it for a day, but it was not too comfortable. I don't know. Anyway, so this is hers. Same lace. I really like this lace. And I lined the inside of this one with a nude color bra tool, so that when you have it on your skin, you can see the detail of the black lace, because if you have a black tulle behind it, the lace detail really kind of disappears. So that's the inside. So I did hers with like burgundy straps kind of and colors in it, and mine I did with emerald and black. So matching. Yeah. I ordered quite a few bra supplies while I was in the US because I have some favorite suppliers, I guess you could say, there. I really like the tailor-made shop, and shipping to Sweden is just too crazy. So I ordered some kits and things, and I think I'll just show you those as I make them, because maybe bra supplies aren't that interesting for most of you. But maybe, oh yeah, so the other thing which I'm sending my sister is this tote bag, and I am totally in love with this. I am so happy with how it turned out. Yeah, I really am very satisfied and impressed with myself, if I may say so. This is a pattern from the Making magazine, the second issue, which is Fauna. And it is called the wax, I think it's called the Wool and Wax Tote. Let's see. Yeah, Wool and Wax Tote from Anna Graham. I can show you the pictures. So there's a couple of different views of it in this book. I don't want to show you like the whole pattern, but so there's a black one with the denim bottom, the gray one with the black bottom, which is basically what I used, and that's it. So this pattern was super easy to follow, very beginner friendly, I would say. It says advanced beginner. I think if you are a beginner, this could almost be a first project, because it's really like sewing rectangles together, and it's very well laid out in the instructions. Yeah, super easy. I was intimidated by it at first because I think the bag just looks so nice. I thought, oh, this must be hard to make, but it's not. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I used fabric that I bought in the US. This is a 100% wool felt fabric, which I got from Joann's, actually. It was like, I don't know, $10 a yard, and I had a 50% off coupon, and you only need like 1 yard basically. Don't quote me on that, but something like very minimal amount. So that was perfect, and it feels really nice, like nice quality. It's 100% wool. They have some felts which are 100% acrylic, which I would not recommend, but this one is really nice. And you can see there's stitching down the center here, so that the front has 2 separate pockets, and I have some little, I don't know what those are called, rivets or something on there, which is just a nice touch that I think adds, just brings the bag up a little bit in terms of professionalism. I really like using things like this. Same with like the bras. I think because they have sort of special notions or something, I don't know what the word would be for them, but like, for example, the sliders and like these, like having these and having the hook and eye, like adding these little extra things, which obviously for a bra you need to have that, but like even these little rivets, something just brings the whole project up a notch. Anyway, I ordered these leather straps from an Etsy shop in Europe because I They are available in the US, especially, I think the person who wrote the pattern, she's called like Noodle something. I don't know exactly, but if you Google search Anna Graham woolen wax tote, she has some kits for, actually I don't know, it might just be for like the notions, so maybe it's for the leather straps and maybe for the rivets, I'm not positive. Anyway, I didn't order it in time and then I was leaving and it wasn't going to arrive in time, so I needed to find another supplier. This is from Leather EU. It's an Etsy shop, I think from Italy or Spain. Not positive. But yeah, that's where I got it from. I think that it shouldn't be too hard to find. And then the inside is a red plaid with a little bit of green as well. And this is some random flannel fabric that my mom had, and my sister liked it and said she could have it for the inside of her purse. So there's also a pocket on the inside, and the bottom of the bag you're supposed to use a waxed canvas, but I couldn't find waxed canvas just like with the fabric stores that were nearby, and again I couldn't really order it at that point when I had decided to make it because I was leaving for Sweden again. So I used 2 layers plus interfacing for the bottom part in a just black duck canvas. I think that's what it's called. So it's a little bit, I think I would like it to have a little bit more structure. Compared to the wool, it's a little bit floppier, but it still, I think, has some nice structure to it, and it will be kind of a rougher bottom. Not rougher, but it will withstand being put on the floor and things like that because it's canvas and just a little more durable. So that is it, and I think as I was sewing this, I was thinking that my accuracy with sewing has improved so much from bra sewing, actually, because often I hadn't sewed very much before I started sewing bras, I would say. I had sewed some kind of random things, like really huge cushion project, which was entertaining, but not very fun because it was with very heavy-duty home decor fabric, so that's just a little bit hard to maneuver. And some kind of random projects, and I've sewn some dresses, but mostly they didn't come out very well or very fitted. And I don't know, just like the finishing techniques weren't good and things like that. But ever since I started sewing bras, like, you have to be super precise with your sewing. So I think that has helped me and transferred over into my other sewing, I guess you could say, because this one everything just went really smoothly, and I don't know, I'm just really pleased with myself, as you can see. Like, the top stitching is all straight and nice. Okay, and I have a little tip for this part to make, because you don't really want to be marking on your fabric while you're working on it, because like, you're not going to wash this tote at the end like you would wash a dress. You don't want to make like a big line down the front so that you know where to sew on this straight line. So what I did actually was I measured over from the side on the top and the bottom, however, you know, the distance that it was supposed to be. And I put a piece of washi tape straight down here, stuck onto the wool. And then I sewed right next to the washi tape, so it was a straight line. And then I had the first straight line as the guide, so when I was sewing the second straight line, it was easy to follow and make perfectly straight. So, yes, okay, I think we've probably seen enough of that. So I need to get that sent off with the bra to my sister and a couple other little things. But if you have not seen the Making magazine, which you probably have, I would definitely pick up a copy. Even just to look at it, if you don't plan on making any of the things in here. This is a beautifully put together magazine, and it's something that I would definitely have a subscription to any day. Yeah, except that it's insanely expensive to ship to Sweden again, so that's why I picked this up while I was in the US. Okay, so I think now I will just go briefly into some of the yarn that I picked up while I was in the US and some yarn that I was gifted. And at the same time, I'll talk a little bit about what I'm planning on knitting with this yarn. So, actually I don't have that much. I already showed you the knit picks, which is I ordered from Knit Picks before I went to the US so that it was there when I got there. And I also ordered some yarn from the Hey Sister Yarn Co. If you are not watching the Hey Sister podcast, you should be, because they're very entertaining and knit beautiful things and dye beautiful yarn. So here are 2 skeins of Can't Take the Sky From Me on the Geronimo sock. And this is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards, 423 meters. Handmade or hand-dyed by yarn lovers for yarn lovers. Hey Sister Yarn Co. So it's a really pretty light blue with purple, orange, and indigo speckles. And I think it will make a very nice project of some sort. I don't know what it will be yet. I was thinking a shawl could be nice, but I think this will be something that I hold in my stash for a little while. I'm often looking for, well, it seems like there's often a shawl project or something that's a 2-skein project that I want to knit, and I only have 1 skein, so that's why I ordered 2 skeins of this. So I'm sure something will come up at some point. Also from Hey Sister, I ordered 1 skein of Leaf on the Wind in Snuggle Worsted. Whoops. And this is a cream speckled with kind of a bright orangey brown, blue, emerald, and there's a little bit of black in there too. And this is just really pretty. And for this I'm planning on knitting a cable-y hat. I don't know which pattern it will be yet, but it will probably have a pom-pom on the top. So that is the plan for that. And in my order, they sent me a lovely gift, which is this this yarn, which I think, is it Autumn Crush? I'm not positive. That might be something else. It doesn't have a sticker on it, but it might have come off in my travels. This is the same brown color that is in the speckles of this one. Some of the speckles. It's a really, really interesting color. I definitely would not have picked this color on their website, like for myself, because I don't tend to gravitate towards browns, but this is almost like, it's almost gold in some places. It's really pretty. And I think it matches nicely with my hair. So this I can see being something either close to my face, or it would also make a really beautiful pair of socks. So I don't know what it will be yet, but thank you so much. It was a really nice surprise. They also sent some stitch markers along, which are sitting over on my table there because I was using them for my Fish Lips Kiss Heel. So, really cute little kind of brass teardrop shape and hexagon shape stitch markers. Finally, my last yarn acquisition from the States is 8 skeins of Quince & Co. Chickadee in Boreal. Boreal? I know it's like a boreal forest, but I don't really know how to say it. This is a color that you are not going to be able to see because it's too dark, but it's a gorgeous forest green. And this is not a color I would have picked for myself either. Well, I did pick it for myself. My parents gave this to me for Christmas. 8 skeins, there's 4 more over there. And I have a plan for it. But, like, if you were to say to me maybe last year or the year before that I would make a sweater out of this color, I would not have believed you. But I just, for some reason, have fallen in love with this really dark green. And I think it goes nicely with my coloring and hair and eyes and things like that. So this is going to be a cable-y cardigan that I don't have the pattern for yet, but I am planning on making the female equivalent to the Timberline sweater cardigan by Jared Flood that I made for Thomas 2 years ago, I think. Actually, maybe 3 years ago. I don't know if I knit it at all on the podcast. And this is actually my 2nd year anniversary for podcasting. Right around January this time. Anyway, sidetrack. So this is a sport weight yarn, and his was in worsted weight. And I won't use the Timberline pattern, but if you recall, it is the one I knit anyway, and one in the pattern. It's kind of a medium light gray, cables all over, big, chunky man sweater. And I was going to say if it's right here, but it's not. Thomas wears that all the time. Like, all the time. And I think he really likes it. And I have also been wearing it. It's really cold in our apartment in the winter because it's not super well insulated. And it's been cold in Sweden. So, yeah, sometimes that cardigan is just what you need to wear on the couch. Yeah, when you're watching a movie or something. But I thought it would be really nice to have my own cozy cable-y sweater, and I thought doing it out of a sport weight would help make it not feel quite as bulky, because I don't want it to be like super chunky or like, yeah. I think that with the sport weight I'll be able to make it like nicely fitted but still have the feeling of a nice cozy large cardigan. It's really too bad that you can't see this color because it's gorgeous, but maybe I'll put some pictures in here of that. Michelle Wong is coming out with a collection. The capsule number 2 is coming out tomorrow, Wednesday, so it will already be out by the time this is up. And there's been a couple sneak peeks of cardigans which I think will fit the bill nicely for this yarn. So I'm very excited for that to come out. And I'm sure I will cast this on after my other 2 sweaters are finished. Right? Okay. So that is pretty much it, I think. I said I would go into a little bit of details about what I did over Christmas, but mostly it was just a really nice time with my family for 2 weeks in Colorado. It was so freezing cold when I arrived, and there was a bit of snow. But afterwards, snow melted, and it was pretty sunny and dry and warm for the rest of the time. We went skiing one day, cross-country skiing, and the snow was not super great because it wasn't really fresh at all. But it was still nice to go skiing. It was really windy, but it was a fun time, and it was just nice to be back in Colorado. My sister came and visited for a couple of days, which was nice to see her too. And some of my friends were there, so it was a good visit to be back. And yeah, as is the case often when I go back for a visit, I don't do very much crafting like I expected. I think I said that when I was getting ready to go, and I didn't know what projects I was going to bring. But I'm glad that I only brought my the Hohi sweater so that I could focus on that and finish it up. I did do a bit of sewing, like I said, but otherwise it was mostly trying to spend time with my family, which was perfect. So yeah, other than that, maybe I'll save next time for some of my goals for 2017, because then I can think about it a little bit more and prepare that, because I definitely have some things that I've been sort of contemplating as knitting goals and life goals. If you remember at the beginning of last year, I said that I wanted to become an expert in bread making. I think that was at the beginning of last year. So I have some other things I would like to become an expert in this year. So I will save that for next week, and we'll see if it's next week. Just as like a slight explanation for why I have been gone and why there has been very little posted on Instagram. Up until yesterday, which was my last day of lectures for my master's degree, I have been really in class. In the winter, it's hard because I'm in class during the times of the day where there's any light outside. And even then, the light is, even on weekends, for example, the light is very low on the horizon, doesn't really light up my workspace or photography spaces in a place that allows me to film or take pictures very easily. So that is why it's been kind of slow in the podcasting and Instagram world for me. But yeah, it's January, so we are on the upturn, I guess, of sunlight. So there should be some more pictures coming out soon. Also, now that I finish my lectures, I will be home some mornings where I might have some time to photograph some things, but I am working on my thesis now, so we'll see. I can't promise there will be an episode next week or the week after, but there will be one eventually, and I am happy to be back. And I hope everyone had a nice holiday and Happy New Year.